Good morning, it's September and welcome to Maple Grove Farm and Homestead. I thought you'd enjoy this morning to look around my kitchen and see what I'm doing first thing in the morning. I've been homesteading here for 14 years and part of my daily routine includes baking. It's one of the forms of ways that we eat from the farm. This morning I'm making some hamburger rolls out of a potato bread recipe and just giving them a little egg wash before they go in the oven. Popping those in the oven and then getting up ready to finish cleaning my kitchen after the morning. We're not off grid here at the farm and homestead, and I'm using my dishwasher as I do every day. I think my little kitty wants in to help me do the dishes. There's a lot this morning. So I do use the dishwasher as a time-saving device, but I really don't like the chemicals that are in the soap that's used for the dishwasher. I've been trying to find an alternative, and soap and dishes seems to be the hardest chemical to get out of our lives, because the homemade soaps, this is some of our homemade soap right here that's been liquefied, and I use it when I can, but it's not really a great alternative for removing the oils from plastics. And while I try not to use plastics, there just are some things that are plastic in our lives that I can't find good alternatives for, and that means using a soap. So you start to see how this whole system is designed to keep us locked into these chemicals that really aren't good for our bodies. So I try to practice prudence, using them where I can't find good alternatives, but where I can, finding. So as we change seasons and I transition into making more products for our home, where I've been in the season of preserving and putting away food, the weather's changed here now that it's September, and I will be working more on the soap making, and I will be trying to find an alternative for the dishwasher soap. The timer has done, and it's time to check out if our rolls are done. Again, these are meant to be a sandwich roll. See, they're not quite done. So back in they go. I'm going to rotate them. That nice glossy top comes from adding the egg wash. So we'll give them 5 more minutes. Okay, 6. The dishes are done, and I have the kitchen all tidied and back to normal after breakfast, and our buns have finished. And while I have the oven heated, I'm gonna go ahead and roast some beef bones. So we recently had a beef butchered and getting ready for fall, and because he was a pain in the butt and wouldn't stay in the fences. And so these are some of the bones I got back. I got 3 boxes, and my husband gave one away. But I'm going to roast these bones. These marrow bones this marrow is really great on some bread. So I'm going to mix up some sourdough artisan bread here in the minute. So what I'm going to do is just toss the bones here into the pan. And then I'm going to sprinkle them with some sea salt. And once the pan is all full and they're all sprinkled with sea salt, I'm going to place them in the oven and roast them till all the fat is melted and the bones look nice and kind of caramelized and brown. And then I'll take the bones and leave the fat behind and put them in a roaster with water to make my beef stock for the year. And I will show you more about that process in the future. But what I do then is I cook down the liquid and I dehydrate it into sheets that are crunchy and pulverize it in an old coffee grinder and store it as bouillon for the year. And that's my chicken, and now it's time to do beef. Okay, I have 2 pans from the one box, and I'm gonna go ahead and put them into the oven. Okay, I went ahead and I have all of my ingredients here, and I'm going to mix them in a minute. And I'm going to feed my sourdough starter. So I have taken out of this sourdough starter a couple times now. So I put a cup of flour inside and now a cup of water. I always put equal amounts of flour and water. And hold on, I spilled some of the water. Okay, I just use a fork to mix it up so that there are no lumps in it, because the next time I want to use it, I want it to be nice and smooth and not full of floury lumps. And so now it'll just close up and sit on the counter till the next time I need it. I use it every few days and then I feed it after I use it. Then this is the no knead sourdough. It has 2/3 cup of sourdough starter, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, 3 cups of organic white unbleached flour, and a 1.5 cups of water. It's pinned on my Pinterest if you're interested in the recipe. So if you haven't made no knead before, you don't need it. That's why it's called no knead. But it's just kind of a shaggy dough. And the water and the sourdough starter, as it works, will kind of hydrate all this flour. So really you just kind of loosely mix it up and then leave it to sit, and it kind of does the rest of the work. I come back and stretch it every once in a while, kind of fold it over on top of itself to make sure it has good gluten structure. This recipe has a little bit of yeast. I'm not opposed to using yeast, but I like the fact that it has sourdough that helps to break down the flour and sour it in a way that it's more healthy for us and easier to digest. I think the yeast gives it that little boost when you put it in the oven to really get it nice and full. And this is baked in a Dutch oven. That's just the last bit of sourdough starter that was in the measuring cup. So this will sit now. I'll check it a few times today and probably bake it around dinner time. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning now, so about 10 hours, 8-10 hours. Okay, time to go outside. I have the chicken scraps to take with me. As well as the box from the bones. Good morning, Pepper. This is Pepper's time to run around because Pepper is a chicken attacker and can't be left unattended. Okay, I think we'll check on the chickens. It's just starting to sprinkle here. We're in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. We pretty much go without rain for July and August, and everything gets brown and Then it starts to green up again. Starts to rain in September, and then rains pretty much all the way through. We'll have sunny weather again next year.